I'm humbled, embarrassed by you, Tim. Not by your presence, but by your words and your confirmation. I am greatly humbled whenever I went to Jefferson City almost 27 years ago to start lobbying for pro-family causes, and because I'm terrible at administration, I'm a hands-on guy, come off of a farm, blue-collar background. I want to just go to work. I don't want to raise money. I don't want to organize people. I just want to go fight liberals and give them heartache. That's what I do. That's what I want to do, and I think I do a fairly decent job of it. But I'm greatly humbled when people come to Jefferson City as legislators, and by the time they leave, or once they've been there for a while, and we get to know one another, when I not only can call them friends, but when they call me a friend, I feel very humbled by that. One of my greatest friends in Jefferson City, who's not longer there, he's in Congress, is my friend Todd Akin, who for 12 years in Jefferson City, for the bulk of that time, was a close enough friend he let me sleep on the floor of his apartment. And it helped me hold down costs so I wouldn't have to go raise money for a place to sleep. But I want to remind you, and this isn't just a little aside, that there's a point to this, Robbie. Todd Akin was elected to state legislature as the first contemporary homeschool father in the state of Missouri. And we were very proud of him. And we sent him to Congress because of that. In a 7-way Republican primary, his opponents at the end of that race admitted it was the homeschoolers that got him to Congress. This year, we have our first homeschool graduate elected to the state legislature in Kurt Barr. Thank you. I say that to say this. I look around the room and I see a lot of people I know. And those of you who I don't, trust me when I say this. I don't see a single person here who's not a true conservative. Whether we agree on every issue or not, I know every one of us sitting here tonight are true conservatives. Those of you who I do not know, I'm going to trust that you're a conservative also. But we are all conservatives here tonight, wherever we are on this issue. And we are all family. And we need to remember that. And we need to treat each other that way. And as we go through what I consider an in-house debate, we need to remember we're debating family. And we need not forget that perspective. Otherwise, we alienate ourselves, we divide ourselves, and we will not be effective fighting the things that we all agree on.
That's right.
And we all agree on one thing. Congress is broke. The problem tonight on this debate is not with the Constitution. Our problem is Congress.
Yeah.
And we need to change the people who are in Congress. And if we're going to divide over how to change the Constitution, which is not broken, we're not going to change the people who are in Congress. We need to refocus ourselves on the real battle. Now I say that to get to my 3 points that I want to make in my opening. The first one is, there are 2 basic options for altering the U.S. Constitution. The first is the Amendment Convention through Article 5, sometimes referred to as the Constitutional Convention. And the other is asking Congress to present an amendment to the states for ratification without a convention. They both share the same problem. We have to go to a dysfunctional Congress to ask them to let us do something, to restrict their power. Whichever process we use has the same problems attached to it. They're not going to give up the power of the purse strings without a fight. So when we look at the Article 5 Amendment Convention methodology, we have some conservatives who look at that and they see what's attractive to it is it boxes in Congress and it forces them to give us the opportunity to change the convention. And they can't weasel out of it like they would when we just asked them for an amendment to approve, which is non-binding. But whichever one you're doing, we're going to the same dysfunctional Congress asking for something. Asking them to give up power. It ain't going to happen, folks. It's just not going to happen. What we can do as a state is we can continue, as we have done in the past, and we can ask Congress to send us an amendment. There's no risk, but it's non-binding. We know. We can keep making the statement. We can at least say who we are as Missouri, who we are as conservatives, and we can express ourselves to the world. But on the other hand, the other perspective is, but that's not binding. Well, you know what? And the way I've looked at it, and Tim and others, I've looked at this a lot longer, and what I've come up with as I've looked into it is, yes, we can box Congress in, but who are we boxing in? We're boxing in the people who's going to create the process, as Paul pointed out. We're boxing in the people who don't want to give up the power of the purse strings. We're boxing in the people who will predetermine what's coming out of that convention. They will